Hello! So today I have a treat for you guys. I'm finally getting around to reviewing another Baldwin, Tell Me How Long the Train's Been Gone, which is his fourth novel, and oh, it was good. If you don't want to listen to anything else, I don't know how else to say this to you, go read Baldwin. Now. Go. Go read some Baldwin. Okay, so let's just be honest here, okay? Baldwin is one of those writers where he's respected, and it seems like his reputation was high in his own time, went down in his own time a little bit, but then kind of waned, and now it seems like a lot of younger literary critics and younger scholars are kind of being proponents of Baldwin again. I definitely am. So he's kind of in this weird limbo where he's not an established part of the canon. Even with African American literature, he's like one of the ones that gets mentioned the least. It seems like, at least in any academic discussion that I've had about it, Baldwin's always getting left out. And I think that's a shame because I think Baldwin's extremely powerful. I just think he's a good writer. He's one of my favorite writers now. He's challenging Hemingway. God, that's never thought I'd say that. But to be fair, Baldwin was born in 1924, died in 1987. I think his first book came out in 1953, and then he wrote 6 novels over the course of his career, and then numerous essays and collections and nonfiction. And I've only really read his fiction because I wanted to start there. I've read them so far in the order they were published. So I started with Go Tell It on the Mountain, and I've worked my way through. I've actually read his 5th novel, If Beale Street Could Talk, and I only have the 6th novel left to read, which is incredibly sad for me. But within the people who studied Baldwin, what they typically think is that his first 3 novels are really his strong novels, and then he kind of fell off for Tell Me How Long the Train's Been Gone, Beale Street Could Talk, and I think it's Above My Head or Just Above My Head are his final 3 novels, and they feel like those aren't as good. They don't deserve the praise. No one really talks about those ones. So Another Country is marked as sort of like his last good novel and a turning point in his career. However, and that was published in either 1962 or 1964. Tell Me How Long the Train's Been Gone was published in 1968, and I will argue to the death with anyone who says that it's not a good novel. It is a great novel. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Basically, the plot centers around our main character, Leo Proudhammer, who's an actor. He's an African-American man who's become a very well-respected stage actor and screen actor. So in the very beginning, he basically has a heart attack on stage. And that's not really a spoiler. It's like the first thing that happens. So he has a heart attack on stage, and then the rest of the novel is basically him recovering, and a lot of it is him thinking back on how he got to where he's at, and reflecting. And it centers around his brother Caleb and their relationship, his lifelong friend/lover/friend, Barbara, who's a white actress, and then Christopher, who's another friend/lover/friend, who's a younger black man. As well as, there's other characters and stuff who come up, but those are the main characters. The main themes, or the major themes within this work, are institutional racism, white privilege, bisexuality, and sexual exploration, homosexuality, racism in general, and homosexuality, and I would say art and what it means to be an artist. A lot of what this book has to talk about is not just racism or sexuality. It also is delving into how these things affect the artist and what he produces and how he can become an artist, especially in an industry like the stage or film. And I thought a lot of that was very interesting. It almost seemed like James Baldwin kind of examining his own career to himself as Leo Proudhammer. Now, some of the criticism that has been given to this work are that the characters are cardboard and not really engaging, and I say, no, they're not. I felt like Leo Proudhammer was a dynamic character that had a range of emotions. I felt like very much like Baldwin. There were times where he was radical, and there were times where he said, "That's silly." Especially the older Proudhammer looking back on a younger Proudhammer, or an older Proudhammer looking at his brother versus Christopher, and this whole relationship that's there. Um, Also, I think they make, like, another criticism is that Leo Proudhammer is an Uncle Tom figure, and I don't think that is true. I think Proudhammer doesn't know. He knows something's wrong, but doesn't know how to fix it, and is trying to figure it out for himself. He's attracted to radicalism, but at the same time is attracted to actually living a life. And he's also someone who sees that you can't just lay down, but doesn't necessarily know all the time how not to do that without sacrificing himself in the process. I think it's a very interesting novel. It's dynamic. I really enjoyed reading it. The characters were rich and like just whole dynamic characters. Baldwin is a master, and I do not think this novel proves otherwise. I don't understand the criticism for it or why it's ignored, and I highly suggest you go out and read it. What I suggest is if you're going to read Baldwin, try to start at the beginning and work your way through. A lot of people are put off by the description of his first novel, Go Tell It on the Mountain, about being about church, but it is such a the way it's structured is amazing, and the psychological examination of the characters is just so on point. It's unbelievable. Um, and so even if church isn't your thing, like, it's not my thing, and I still love that book. I suggest you go start for that one. Everyone goes for Giovanni's Room first, and in my opinion, so far, that's his weakest novel. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's not. But that's his worst. Which is still really damn good. So read that if you want. But I'm just saying, if you've read Giovanni's Room and you're not sure if you're interested in reading his other stuff, read his other stuff. Because Giovanni's Room is his weakest one. Another Country, I think, is probably his strongest. It's a beautiful novel. This is right behind that. I love this one. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Anyway, let me know what you think. I love comments. And as always, have a good life and happy reading.